Hi, welcome to Salt and Honey. We are a podcast about comics and, narrative, character, story. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Leslie, and this is Sloane.
Hello.
And today we're joined by Hwei Lim. You may know her from the Image series Mirror and various other works. She's a very amazing artist and
Mm-hmm.
just an overall very cool person. Um,
Oh.
do you want to add anything, Hui?
No,
More
I mean,
accolades.
I'm normally quite shy and I don't talk. But
That's okay.
Hui's like, why'd you make me do this?
Yeah. Thank you for suffering through the next 45 minutes with us.
Yeah, we'll
We're
probably just
very
be giggling the
excited.
whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, Leslie, when is the first time you've seen Hwei's work? Because
It was probably on DeviantArt, probably 10 years ago, over 10 years ago. I
I'm so
just thought
glad you
Hui's
didn't
work.
say like Elfwood.
Elfwood! Oh god. Well, I never even had an Elfwood account. I just knew other people that did have them. So, luckily, I missed that. But how long were you on Elfwood? How was Elfwood?
I don't know. I think I found it because I was reading a lot of sword and sorcery. I was reading this thing called like Forgotten Realms, and it was very like dark elves and stuff. Yeah, and then somehow I found Elfwood and I made there. Don't look for it,
Like
please.
you're like Google searching elves,
No.
elf drawing.
Ooh. But I think I remember like when I was in like high school, and for some reason when you kind of went online around that time, everyone was drawing kind of like that kind of stuff like D&D, sword and sorcery. What are the name of those books? The Dragon Realm books? I think
okay.
Yeah.
like
Maybe
trashy kind of like Lord of the Rings, but
fantasy,
not fantasy.
like Lord of the Rings, offshoot, like worlds.
Yeah, kind of bootleg Lord of the Rings. But anyway, they were fun in their own way. I do
When was
recall
this
that.
exactly? Or what kind of era was this? Was it like pre 2000s or was it like late 90s or 2000s?
I think it was 2000s, like at the very beginning of
Okay.
the 2000s. I'm
Yeah, I
very
don't
old.
know. I mean, I was on the internet, but I was just like looking up like anime boys. um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think I found your work first on DeviantArt, and I was just like, wow, it's like so amazing. Like I remember from very early on, I noticed that you just had like a very um, like you'd mostly work digital, I think, but have like a
Yeah.
very delicate hand with things. So it kind of has like a like pseudo traditional analog look, which I really liked and could never replicate. Not that I was trying all the time, just a little bit, just some of the time.
Just a tiny
Um,
bit.
yeah, and then I think our friend Isabel was like always like after like DeviantArt, it was like LiveJournal. I followed you on LiveJournal.
Yes. Yes.
And then Izzy was like, Hui is so good. I'm like, I know Hui is good, but I don't know Hui, but I like her art. Like, and I don't know what happened after that. I think it was maybe Twitter, and then like we met, and Hui was really nice, and then we went to Tokyo, and then the rest is history. We played Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Yeah, I
um,
remember the walking into the Airbnb full of buildings.
Yeah, we like went to Comic Con one year. Like it was probably like 2014, so it was around 4 years ago.
No, it was so long ago.
Yeah, it was
We
a
have to
while
go.
ago, but like yeah, we had to go again. But like we had like I think Hui was at like Comic Fiesta,
Oh, right,
like
right,
like
yeah.
around the same
Oh,
time, so you
right.
couldn't come. And then like
Yeah.
so we had gone to Comic Con, and then the night before Comic Con we had our friend Fawn who works at Viz. She had bought like a Comic Con catalog. Like it's like a actual book, like kind of like a phone book, like the manga phone books, but like it's just full of like where people are going to be placed, which is very interesting. So you can buy them at like I think comic stores in Japan. I don't really sure, but we were just like looking through to see like which sections we would go to and which artists we would hit up. And it was just so it
Mhm.
was like insane. Like I don't even know why we did this or how we did this, but we were just like, how many do you want of like because like people would just have like books and like novelty goods, so we'd be like, how many sets do we want? And then if people like the artist, then we'd just be like, okay, like write me up for this one because everything is like I don't know, doujin in Japan is like very very affordable. I mean, this
Mm.
basically you're just paying for the printing cost, I guess, and like however
Mm.
much more they want to add on to that for like work. But it's
Mhm.
like I don't know. I spent so much money on that trip. I like one of my bags literally broke because I bought way too many books. Like I had to buy another suitcase because I bought like 20 kilograms of books. How much is that? Like it's almost
Oh
50
my god.
pounds.
Oh my god.
Um,
But I mean, a slight aside, I was actually having this discussion with like some friends the other day about like the price of doujinshi, especially in Japan. And I
yeah.
think it kind of like it's deliberately kept kind of like low because it first of all it's like well
Oh
they're
yeah,
mostly
gray
like
market.
these creations, and
Yeah.
I think people avoid like drawing attention to themselves because I think there was a case of like a doujinka who was kind of like charged for evading tax or something because she sold so much
Oh shit.
doujinshi.
Like a very popular doujin
Yeah,
artist.
yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure. I think it might have been like Sailor Moon doujinshi, but
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't know whether she like it was an honest mistake. I probably was, but I think after that, people might have been a bit more careful.
Like they're more
So,
modest about
yeah, yeah,
what they do.
and
It's
it's
very immodest in America, as you probably know. It's extremely like fan work is just like extremely immodest in America. There's like no sense of like ownership.
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, what were we talking about? How did we get there?
Um, I guess we can. I kind of want to circle back to like early, like baby
Elfwood?
Hwei.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Elfwood, basically. Like, I'd love to know like what your like formative inspirations are, and when you began to like want to tell stories in comics
Hmm.
form, I should say specifically.
Ooh, I have to think really hard. I honestly, I have been alive for a long time. Okay.
You're not that old, Hui. You're like
I am.
you're not.
I'm not even like your senpai. I'm like the senpai of your senpai.
You're my big brother.
A grand senpai.
Yeah.
You're my grand big brother.
Yeah. No. Okay, let me think. I remember actually writing like fan fiction first.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I think like wanting to tell stories was kind of came from that. Like you would read stuff and it would inspire you. You would read like authors that you really like the writing style of. Like for quite like I think for like a few years I was really into Hemingway's writing style. Like I
Mm.
was like he writes about really weird stuff, but I like how simple and kind of like vague his writing was, and
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think yeah. So I didn't have. I think I kind of like yeah did a lot of fanfic. Please don't look it up.
Did you
Yeah.
have it like under your real name or something? Like, is it is it even
Oh
possible to look it up, or we just
no, no, it's not in my like my life journal or something. Yeah.
okay? I'll keep your secret.
What was like your fandom of choice? Like what fanfics were you writing for?
Probably Prince of Tennis. Don't look it up. I wrote a lot for Prince
We
of
Nice.
Tennis.
promise we won't look it up. Way.
Yeah.
You're
I,
like terrified. You're like, can you please delete the entire episode? I'm not comfortable with where we went.
yeah. I mean, let's not go into the details, but Prince of Tennis.
Nice.
Yeah, I think because I was uh, it was all like the characters and the kind of like the dynamics between the teams. Like they all had very
Yeah.
strong individual personalities,
Hmm.
and I really like that. It kind of was like that with like Yowamushi Pedal as well, right? You kind of like the characters,
Yeah.
and you're like, yeah, you like the
I
way they
guess.
interact.
Yeah, I guess most sports manga because it's not like it is like kind of about the sports because I feel like it does ring true if people like the sport and if it rings like false if they don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I feel like fans gravitate towards those like it's like that sense of camaraderie and like friendship. Um, I don't know. It's like I don't know. I feel like it's pure in a way,
Yeah.
like a pure like sense of interest in something. I suppose
Yeah.
you were
But
into
I feel
like
yeah.
Terry Pratchett and like Neil Gaiman and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. I read like I think I've read almost every Terry Pratchett book. I really love him. He's he's very good at making fun of the right kind of thing, I guess. Like he seems to usually punch up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I really liked Douglas Adams as well. So he wrote Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I love all his books. He's so funny.
I could see that. I could see that in your work. Kind of it's like slightly irreverent, but sweet. Like
Well,
Yeah.
I think you have to be able to make fun of stuff. Like I've read some books that I mean,
yeah,
like when I read books that are serious all the way through, and it's
it's
like it doesn't feel like 100% real because I guess in real life, even when things are really really shitty, it's very human to kind of try and crack a joke to be able to get through it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
like
To
a
break the
sense of
tension.
yeah, like a sense of levity is needed.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, you go crazy.
yeah, yeah. Like I can't remember. I was talking to someone about like life in like communist China under Mao,
hmm
and I
Hmm.
think they were talking about their relatives, and they were like, yeah, you know, like, but life went on. I mean, yes, they were subject to this regime, but you know, people did crack jokes and they did like dance and laugh
Yeah.
together, with their family and stuff. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
It's
and
heavy.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I think well, like my image of you just from your work is like you're very like fantasy oriented. I was wondering like when your kind of like early fascination with like fantasy, like the fantasy genre started.
yeah. Definitely. I read a lot of fantasy books. I read Lord of the Rings, but that wasn't my favorite. My favorite were the trashy, slightly trashier series. Dragonlance. That's what it's that's what does it. Dragonlance.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, those. So I really love those books. I
Hmm.
wouldn't be able to. I feel like I wouldn't be able to read them again. But they were like I was very fond of them.
Like
I
very
might have.
formative.
Yeah, I might have dropped some of them.
It looks
Um.
like it was. I'm looking up Dragonlance because I like vaguely remember it, but it looks like it was co-created by these two women, which is pretty cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's
It
pretty
was.
neat.
Like one of the main characters was like this warrior lady, I think, and like the bad guy was like her half brother or brother. Like he was an asshole.
Ooh.
Sorry, I'm not
Hmm.
sure if we can swear on this. Yeah, but
No,
he
it's
was
fine.
interesting. He had like reasons for being like awful and mean, so they were quite.
Mm. Yeah, I
Um,
love stuff like that. I mean, I feel like I can only read fantasy if it's like a little horny and like weird.
yeah,
I feel like Tolkien is too dry. Tolkien is like it's like a good base, I think.
Hmm.
Kind of like
yeah, yeah. And
igniting
I
like a
think the
fire inside
reason
of you.
I think the reason that like I mean like I enjoy Tolkien is that the movies kind of came out and then there were so many like jokes and memes about the
Oh my god,
movies.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very fond of it now because of that.
I was never like super into Lord of the Rings, like not even the movies, just because like I kind of hate Orlando Bloom. Like for nothing
Mm-hmm.
personal against him. It just like didn't. I feel like I was like very contrarian, so I was like, I hate Legolas. Like I don't get it.
Because everyone
Um,
loves him. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, everyone loves him, and they all
No,
like. I was just like,
but then you realize that Gimli loves him the most, and then he
I
becomes
love
likable
Gimli and
again.
Legolas. Yeah, I like. Honestly, I did love that, and I was like, I think that was kind of early like fervent shipping. Like before that, there was a lot of like people doing like shipping things in general, but like I think the movies really helped kind of like the
Yeah, yeah.
visual aspect of how people get into fandom.
Like I literally just saw a tweet the other day about this. Like it was like a comic drawn by a person who learned English so that she could read like Lord of the Rings fanfics,
Oh my
specifically
god.
specifically
Nice.
shippy ones. And she actually, I think
Why else
she
would you?
really
Why
but
else would you like need to learn another language other than to read like shipping
yeah,
fanfics?
yeah.
Like, there's really no other reason. You can like, there's perfectly fine things like other people are making. I'm sure that's pretty
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
It's a
Oh
good
my
driving
god.
force. But
Yeah,
there's a lot
I
of
think so.
other fantasy stuff. There was I can't Fafrid and the Grey Mouser. Those are really nice. I like those books.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
I need to read more fantasy. I wanna feel something.
Play Dark Souls. Play Dark Souls.
No,
Play
I
Dark
don't
Souls.
wanna I don't wanna play. It feels like I don't wanna feel pain. I just wanna feel something good.
It's okay. And then you're like, I don't feel pain anymore, just frustration.
Would
Yeah.
you say mostly like now you like playing games for inspiration or like just
I've been playing a lot of games. Yes. But actually, so like after I think all of that, like there was like a comic that I used to draw, and it was kind of like based off this like obsession with like fantasy. And then I did quite a lot of like doujins for series. Like well, there was one game that I really liked, Sengoku Basara.
Mhm,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, again, like you kind of like draw or write for it because you're very into the characters and like I guess what could have been or like trying to fill in the missing pieces.
Mhm.
And then I think like I went on a trip to I think Osaka to the aquarium.
Hmm.
And and I was looking at so they have these like three whale sharks in the aquarium, and they're really really big and they're very beautiful.
Wow.
And
Mhm.
you kind of stand there and you look at them, and then you feel very very sad because they're not supposed to be there. But if they weren't
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
then a lot of people might not care about them.
Hmm.
And I think from then on it was stuff like that. It's just like seeing stuff in the real world, maybe especially about animals, that kind of makes me feel that I want to write a story about it and make people think about it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was the first like that was after that I think I wrote like the first like Lalach and Boris story.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then they kind of went to a lot of different places after that.
So
Yeah.
cute. I love Lalage and Boris.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because and it happened again. Like I went to we went to visit my friend in Chiang Mai in Thailand, and we
Hmm.
Mhm.
went to an elephant sanctuary. And we were there, and she was telling us about this very complex situation that has kind of uh, well, it's this kind of complex situation that the elephants are in now because they were domesticated. That they have a really long history of their domestication, but now there's no actual work for them to do. So
Hmm.
there's kind of like a big dilemma now, right? Like, what do we do with all these elephants because they have to eat
Yeah.
and there's no work for them to do, right? And it gets very complex. And if you think
Mhm.
about it, it can make you really sad. But I think it's better
Yeah.
Hmm.
people think about it than to just like ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just like some people like would rather not know at all, and I don't understand that mentality, I guess.
yeah.
It's
I
kind
can
of it's kind
understand.
of like how like I understand it, but I feel like that's not the solution, I guess. That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that it can make you feel really sad, but like in reality, in reality, human beings, we will always put out like kind of like our own interests, our interests of our
Mhm.
family or like closest friends first. But it's
Hmm.
Yeah.
think about all this other stuff, right? And when you have the time, or like if you want, you can actually make it your life's mission. Because yeah,
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that sounds like it
and
has probably a big uh part of it's like a big part of Mirror, seeing as how it's like a lot about animals and like their value as living creatures and like what
yeah,
makes a human. That's a
yeah,
really
yeah.
interesting
Mhm.
theme that I'm also really
Into.
always circling around.
Yeah, yeah. yeah, I think like yeah, I think like when Emma and I were talking about Mirror, we were like, yeah, the animals are going to be a big part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the second, like this kind of like the second part of Mirror, like the issues 6 onward, is kind of more like trying to wrap up and kind of go back into the history of one of the characters, Elena. So and
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think we were both surprised because we didn't expect that we would want to go into the background of this one character so much. But yeah, I think I'm glad we did, and with how it turned out.
Mm-hmm.
It was just really difficult to draw.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
for
you said that it was very out of your wheelhouse, like it was not what you
yeah, it's not. It's
or
kind of
like
not what I'm used to. So I apologize in advance if it looks a bit wonky, but yeah.
What part were you like uncomfortable drawing? Because to me, it seems so easy. Like, I don't see the struggle on the page at all.
I think like so actually like
Like, was
the
it just
one thing
all across the
I
board
struggle with
difficult for
is
you,
like
or?
no, it's like the one thing I'm like, so like when you're drawing like a scene and it's in a room and you have to paint the walls, and I'm like, what
Mm-hmm.
color should the walls be? And then I just kind of like, oh, I'm not an interior designer.
yeah.
Yeah,
But you like color your own pages though, I think, right?
yeah, I do. Yeah, so that
So
kind of
it's
adds to the struggle.
yeah, doubling your work.
But I don't know, cause like again like again as I was going through the process of drawing Mirror and painting it, and I was kind of looking at my pages and thinking like I felt that all the color was. I mean I think this is the limit of my own ability as well. But I was looking at it and thinking that does the color actually make it better, or does it kind of like muddle it up and kind of distract from what I'm actually trying to say with the story, like the story that we're actually trying to draw. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about this for a long time. Like even though I love color comics and I make color comics myself, my favorite comics will have and I think will always be like black and white comics. Um,
Yeah.
like oh my god, I can't think of like my absolute favorite comic right now. I really like Sunny by Taiyo
Mhm.
Matsumoto,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and I feel that like I like all of his comics, and I don't know, I just feel that like the the absence of color, or it actually kind of like pushes the story along and kind of forces you to
Mm-hmm.
focus on what he's actually trying to tell you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like color comics too. I just feel that like I don't know, it's just this really strange phenomenon that I've noticed.
Yeah.
I yeah, I grew up with more manga, so I think I'm just used to more non-color comics like black and white.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Um
same.
so it's just kind of like it's not even a preference really, it's just like what I know the best. There are some really good color comics though, like American comics, like there are some really good ones for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um but when I first started making comics, I like didn't even think I would ever make color comics like ever. It
Yeah,
was just
same.
not something I thought about. Maybe like limited color. Like I feel like in the future maybe limited color. I don't know. I hate thinking like color is just another layer like, of
Yeah.
thinking that I don't always want to do. Like it's like very illustration esque to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it takes long enough
Yeah,
to make a comic. Like anything adding to
Yeah,
yeah.
it kind of feels like a struggle.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's funny because I really associate your work as being like super color based, mostly because of like, well, like Hero and like a lot of your shorts.
Hmm.
But
Yeah,
I think that's the same with me as well. People talk about the color I do a lot, but I prefer comics in black and white because to me it's like it slows down the reader, the color does, whereas like there's some sort of like streamlined kind of like what is like the way you process a black and white page I feel is a lot almost like purer than when it
yeah,
has
Yeah.
color in a
yeah.
way.
I
um
feel like people get confused seeing colors. Like it's like a lot going
yeah.
on at once, and then Like not it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just like a different way to process
Yeah.
images, I guess.
Yeah. I also like making the reader do more work. Like I'm like you can picture like a sky, what color the sky
It's the
is, or
most
like
beautiful color in the world. Don't you know what that is?
yeah,
Like
just like use your imagination and fill in that spot. You know, that's the fun part about comics.
the part that you don't have to see.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, and then actually there's this other book that I'm thinking of right now, which is like the complete opposite of what I was talking about. It's an art book by
mhm.
a Chinese artist called Cao Tao. I can't pronounce her name
Oh
right.
yeah.
Oh
And
yeah, they're
Yeah,
really
it's
I
good.
like her.
really, really beautiful because you kind of open it and every single page or spread is its own illustration. And
Yeah.
you kind of look through it and you're kind of like admiring it. And then after a while, you kind of realize that it's telling a story. Like
Yeah.
Mm.
they're all telling a story. Like they're sequential. They're telling a story. And then at the
Mhm.
end, there's this wall of like text which I wish I could read, but I think she might be explaining the story. But I feel that like there's I really like that book because it kind of like you kind of like stop and look at every page and you kind of like form the story in your head.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I think I have one of her books in French. If you can read French, then you can read that book. Like, send it to you. Like, I'll be like, hey, learn another language so you can read this thing that it's like nothing. Like it ends up being not even what we thought it
It's just like
was.
the credit page or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like I think one of your earlier well, like I was super a big fan of Hero. Leslie, did you read Hero?
Yeah, I read
Oh
Hero.
no.
Um oh yeah. No, Hero is so good. It was like so
It's really
inspiring.
good. I was
Yeah,
like
and like
shocked that
beautiful.
you made it. Well, I'm not like shocked that you made it, but shocked that someone made it. I feel it's one of those
What?
things where I was like, oh, people can
That
make
it
stuff.
existed.
Yeah, like people like because I don't know. Like I feel like at a certain point, I didn't think of like people making comics as people in a way because it just seems so like crazy. Like it's just so much
Mm,
work. And then
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that was like kind of my first experience where I was like, oh, people make things. Like people like draw and like write stories and like it's
Mhm.
like one person. Just like I don't know.
Like
I
you
don't
did
know why
all of this.
it took me so long to figure that out. I don't know why. Like I think there was just like a mental block where I was like, there's no way people do this and like just didn't think about it too much. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's being silly.
Yeah, what was like it feels very like stream of consciousness. Like what was the kind of story seed for Hero? And like what
Um,
kept you going drawing it because it's very long. It's like
yeah.
very in a very accomplished piece of comics work.
Um, I I don't know actually. I think like there was like a after a while there was like a sense of like it was like a regular thing. Like there was a so I kind of had in mind like what the beginning and the ending was and what the point of the whole journey was, but
Mhm.
I think I just tried to update like regularly out of like guilt. and I did enjoy drawing it, and but I think yeah, I don't know. Like I enjoyed drawing it. I enjoyed writing it. Um,
Mhm.
and then like when you so the thing is that I guess when everybody who makes art you kind of like reach a point where you look at what you've drawn and then you see what other people are doing and you're like, oh god, why is the gap so big? Why doesn't my
That's
stuff
me
look nice?
literally
Yeah,
every time I draw something.
no, smacking you.
I'm like, huh?
But I think it happens to all of us,
Yeah.
and then you kind of like go off and try to do like studies or you try to like like I still I can't I can't paint. I feel that I can't paint, right? Especially like when you kind of like see what other people are creating now, like especially if you go to ArtStation where all the Chinese like digital
Oh yeah.
artists do their stuff.
Oh yeah.
You kind of like then I
I
was
don't
kind of
go
like yeah.
there.
I don't go there because I don't want to feel bad.
Yeah.
I'll go there if I want to feel bad, okay? Like
Yeah.
I'm self-aware at least.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't.
always remember like there were a lot of Chinese and Russian artists that were just like crazy because they would do is draw all day. Like do like figure drawings and studies and like just draw like all hours, all waking hours. And I was like, I don't know if I could do that. Like I love drawing, but it's not I can't do that. It's like not possible. Um
Yeah, I mean,
but
I
it's
think
pretty
it's
cool.
possible, but it's not what you want. Like, I think that what you want is
Yeah.
to, yeah, to I don't know, to draw like a picture with a certain feeling or mood rather than,
Yeah.
to mimic the exactly how the light falls through the window and like the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely like something to be said about people that draw so much that it's just kind of like second nature to them.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's also kind of like I never want to draw like a bunch of things and just for the sake of drawing a bunch of things. Like I feel like that just leaves me feeling very empty and like weird about it. Like it makes me dislike drawing, which it shouldn't.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm sure some people are just perfectly fine with that, which is great. Like I think that everyone needs to recognize that they're just different. Like if what motivates you is different from someone else, then it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that that's how you get by. And I've just found personally that I can't do that. Like I'm just like
Yeah.
I'm like very like not like stuck on it, but I can get demoralized pretty easily if I'm just kind of doing it just for the sake of doing it. It just doesn't seem worth it sometimes, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
I was also wondering like what I feel like in Hero, I think most of it is like the word balloons are like a pop-up kind of
Oh yeah,
when
yeah.
you like click on the page. I always thought that was very interesting. Um I was just like curious about why you decided to do that instead of like traditional word balloons. Or I know so at one point you kind of had like almost like a subtitle-esque text
Yeah.
within the pages at
Oh,
one
there was one
point.
chapter with like subtitles. Yeah. I,
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was like, so the word balloons that only appeared when you hovered over the panel. That was
Mhm.
my way of getting out of actually drawing word balloons. And also
Understandable.
this text that I wanted to put into it, and I didn't want you to load the page and see like all the text. So
Mhm.
quite a lot of the for a lot of those that's why the text was there. And
Mhm.
one chapter was in subtitles because I don't know. I was thinking of like I was watching a lot of, maybe I watched like too much subtitled anime or
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
like Hong Kong movies at one point. So
Mhm.
I can't actually like understand Chinese. I need English subtitles. And
Mhm.
and it's a very, I mean, I think I grew up with that. So and a lot of stuff here is subtitled anyway. Um,
Yeah.
uh, so uh, so yeah, and I can't remember exactly why that one chapter was in subtitles, but I think
It
also
was
that,
cool. It was kind of like a almost like a music video.
oh yeah, yeah. And I think towards the end, like there are a couple things that towards the very end, there's some pages are up where uh, I think there's not actually that much text. So I was just kind
Mhm.
of just chucking it on the page. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
What what drew you to like your overall like stylistic choice like when you approached your art? Was it just like the artists like around you at the time? Like there's a lot of like digital painting happening, or what
Oh,
made you choose like those aspects of your style?
I think it was like when I actually like started drawing. I was actually like about to go away to college, so and I
Mhm.
didn't want to pack all this stuff with me, and I don't like cleaning up mess either, so I just bought a tablet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nice.
I learned how to
Very
use this.
economical,
Yeah, I'm just gonna
practical.
learn how to use this because I don't know how to draw on paper like well anyway. So I think if I like grown up drawing on paper with ink or with like paints, then I might have just stuck with that. But I was like, okay, so I'm gonna learn. And who was it? I was trying to think. I think like some of the very first artists that I kind of like found online were like Amano and the guy who does Blade of the Immortal, Hiroaki Samura.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really loved Blade of the Immortal. It was really like it just looked so nice, it's drawn so
Mm-hmm.
nicely, and yeah, and I think it's like when you start and you have no idea what you're doing and you go and look at tutorials. And I mean, fortunately for me, like back in those days there weren't that many, so you kind of like didn't have to choose, so you kind of just it felt a bit easier to find because you only have
Yeah.
one option. So you're like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna sit down and look at this and learn from it. Right? And like now when I try to like figure out how to set shortcuts in Clip Studio, there are like pages and pages of results.
You can do that?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can
Shortcut?
change the shortcuts. You can change the shortcuts.
Oh.
So like,
Okay. I was like, oh my God. I've been using it so long without like knowing how to use it. I was like, wait,
yeah.
what?
So like you can set like pens to like the button,
Mm,
pencils to
I
like
see. I
yeah
see.
stuff, and you can change them.
That makes
But
sense.
yeah, but I
Yeah,
suppose
I guess what I've always liked about your work is that it just like I feel like you're the best at doing like not traditional digital work. Like I know a lot of people do it, but I feel like it's very convincing and it's also very like restrained. Like I think that so much of your work has to do with like a restraint and kind of like this like decadence too. I was gonna ask about like some of your writing, but I was like, I think that's just how Hui is. Like, I was like, that's just Hui. Like, I don't need an explanation. I already know. um, but yeah, I really like. It just always feels like I don't know. It's like your work is alive because of the way you drew it. I guess. Yeah, that didn't
Yeah,
have
it's
like
like it's not like ever overworked, and it's like
yeah
still maintains like gesture, which is something like barely any digital artist I feel can do.
yeah. It's
Like
like mostly
especially
like
when they're
a
trying to apply color and like a paint and like depth. Like it's so hard to like achieve all that without like I don't know,
overworking
just
it.
getting really overworking and like bogging it down.
I think it's kind of
yeah.
like a maximalist approach too. I think sometimes is what people try to go for just because it's so easy to go overboard and like go crazy digital because there's no like end to it. Like you don't like ever like you're not going to overwork the paper. There is no paper to overwork. It's
Oh
just like
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it just is what it is. So
yeah,
as opposed to like traditional where you kind of have to like hold back sometimes because there's it literally will not be able to support itself. But I feel
yeah.
like your work just has a really nice sense of that, which is what I love about
Thank you.
it.
How do you I'm trying to like I don't I'm not sure how to ask this, but like what goes through your mind when you're like working on like an illustration? Like are you aware of like being restrained, or are these like is this sort of I don't want to say it's minimal, but it's something that's like you are obviously like very aware of like your composition, your color, and how far you need to take it, and you don't you it feels like you just instinctually know what's going
Um,
to be too much. Like
yeah, I think
I don't know what kind of
you get a feel for it like when,
mm,
but I yeah, I mean, I think that like I kind of paint as though it was watercolor because
mm-hmm.
I think that's what we had in high school. So I was like I'm not aware of anything else. So we did some like arts in like high school. Like you can't look it up. Like mine were really bad. Like I do remember
Oh
being
my
told
god.
you start like you kind of like start off light and then you add you kind of add stuff to make it darker. And I think like
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of like I guess fan art to thank for this as well, because when you started to get into something like I don't know Prince of Tennis, and you would kind of go and look up all
Mm-hmm.
the fan art, and there would be some of this really beautiful art that it it just kind of said just what needed to be said, and I don't know. I feel that like I think maybe I mentioned this before, but like I kind of like it when you can kind of look at a picture and you feel something, and
Yeah.
I think that I'm kind of more about that. And sometimes it's easier to feel something if it's kind of like pared down, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Like less to analyze. Like there's less to think about.
No, I mean, like I also do really enjoy looking at like a really detailed picture and just feeling like wow, like you know, like the this what is it? Like you look at a very beautifully painted picture and you just feel like a sense of like space or like immenseness
Mm-hmm.
or like extreme reverence for the subject that it's, you know, like about. Like I think that's incredible, but I kind
Mm-hmm.
of know my own limits and I know that I'm not gonna achieve that. And sometimes I think like that's also like I don't know, like the feelings that I kind of want to draw are I can kind of figure out my own way to achieve them. And
Mm-hmm. That's so cool.
So you didn't like go to college for art. You were doing something. You were working as something else before you made like a full switch to comics, right?
yeah, I
Oh,
yeah
were you like an
yeah
engineer or something, or?
yeah I studied engineering, and then I kind of went into like management consulting,
Mm-hmm.
which are completely not related to each other, but for some reason they like to hire engineers, so I ended up
Hmm.
doing that. And I was kind of like drawing at nights to stay sane, and yeah, I think like when I was I think I left to do like one of the chapters of Spera, and Josh asked me to do one of the chapters, and then I kind of
Mm-hmm.
went back to work after that on a slightly different terms. And then Emma asked if I would like to do Mirror, and yeah,
The rest is history.
yeah, and yeah, and so now like we're done with Mirror. It will be out in the last issue will be out in April, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm putting together, I guess, a book, I think, but I'm not sure what to do with it yet. Like
Hmm.
yeah, so I'll sit on that and think of that for a while.
What do you feel
That's
about
cool.
like monthly comics or like the serialization, I guess? Like
Monthly
how did
comics.
you yeah, like having to make a book like Mirror, like was it
I think like a month is
like
not
did you
enough.
have you need like 3 months.
Not
3 months
enough.
is good.
I think I mean I think after doing Mirror, I've come to understand and appreciate how like why you see like a whole team of people working on each comic. Like in the past, I would be
Yeah.
like, "Why do you need like a colorist? You can color your own comics." And now I'm like, I repent, I repent.
You're like, I made a mistake. I know now.
I was wrong.
Y-
Yeah,
Yeah, it's also something I didn't understand until like I started making monthly comics. I was like, oh my God, this is like insane. Like it's I feel like I'm going insane. Um
yeah,
Obviously I'm not doing monthly comics like in the sense that it's coming out every month. But it makes sense. Like people have different teams. Like people will work well in advance just because there's no way to do it like right before anyway.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah,
It's pretty breakneck.
yeah. But like
Don't think I'd do it again.
I mean, I feel that if I did it again, it would just be black and white because I mean, the thing is that it's not that you don't trust someone else to do your colors, but like I feel that the more
It
of the
takes
work,
longer.
it takes longer, yeah, and then you have to review it anyway. And I feel
Hmm.
that like kind of like the more of it is controlled by like kind of like driven by one particular vision. The more,
Hmm.
I guess coherent, or like one or two people working together, then the kind of like the more coherent the thing is.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Yeah, and like I don't know, like maybe it's like I think like my own sense of like responsibility for for the thing. Oh, but like Emma and I did like end up drawing like so we actually both draw and write like mirror. Actually, I feel really bad
Mhm.
because like I end up editing a lot of the stuff which Emma writes. So sorry, Emma, if you can hear this.
Feel
Yeah,
like I fixed it.
yeah. I don't know. I feel that sometimes I make it worse, but then like like you kind of like edit and edit and edit, and then the deadline is there,
Yeah.
and you're still editing, and then the deadline comes and you have to
Mhm.
go.
No, I think it's like healthy to do that. I feel like sticking with one thing like all for the whole way. Like some people are really good at that. Like I feel like it really depends on who you're talking to, but if you're like not sure, then you're just not sure, and sometimes you do have to like make changes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I feel
Yeah,
like it usually does help. I mean, like not
Mhm.
like a million edits, but like restrained edits, like within reason or not. Which in the case of like, I think every comic I worked on, like with someone else, has always been edited several times.
yeah,
Like, because I think before I used to be like very afraid of people like judging the work, so I would like put it out as soon as possible. So like it would just that was just it. Like that's how it's gonna be.
mm,
And now I've kind of like accepted not the criticism. I've accepted people like having input and that input being valuable,
yeah,
which is like kind of scary when like I feel like it's like you have to believe in your own work. So like it feels like you don't believe in it if you're doing that, but then you kind of realize that it's perfectly fine and actually good for the work to let
yeah,
it grow more.
yeah. I mean, I think it's good to have like other opinions because you at one point you spend so long working on it that you forget that sometimes the connection between
People have to read
something.
it.
Yeah, you forget that other people
Yeah.
are going to read it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How do you feel about like would you work again like in American comics, like monthly serialized comics, or like and also did you like collaborating, or do you feel like you want to go back to making like more solo work?
Um, so I think it would have been very hard to like collaborate with anyone aside from Emma because
Mhm.
I feel that like we like I can trust her to forgive me if I do something really bad and vice versa, and that we genuinely would not mind like so we genuinely would not mind like she didn't mind me changing stuff and I didn't mind her changing stuff and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think yeah, so I think that was good, that but a bit unique maybe. um
Mhm.
Hmm.
um I think that like I have kind of like a longish story that I kind of want to work on for now, but um,
Mhm.
we'll see. Yeah, and um, yeah, I'm not sure because I feel that the other thing about the comic scene is that you kind of like, despite the fact that we all kind of like work online, it does help to, I don't know, be physically there at cons or meeting people,
Oh yeah.
or even
Yeah.
if it can't be, then like I guess like networking in some way, and which I know I'm very bad at. Like, yeah,
We're all bad at that. So we were artists. We didn't think that we had to do this. Like we didn't
Yeah.
think this was part of it. Like, we kind of assumed that like, the work would speak for itself, but it clearly does not.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, I
Like
don't
I didn't
really.
sign up for this. Didn't want to talk to people I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard. It's like unexpectedly hard.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things. I feel you on like all of those issues that you brought up.
Mhm. Um, Leslie, do you have a favorite Hwei comic?
I think I like Hero. I feel like there was like a really old one. I don't remember like if it was like a fan work or something, but I remember it was very formative at the time. Like I don't remember what it was called. I just remember seeing it on Hoy's Live Journal many years ago. I must have been in
Mhm.
college.
Was it the one for like a zine? and it
It
was
was like
like,
black and white, and then like it was
oh, it
kind
was
of a lot
black
of
and
like
white.
inner monologue, I think.
Maybe
I
it
remember
That sounds
was
like something I did. Like
the
a lot of
I
things
just
that
remember
I've
it was
done.
like so like romantic, and I was shocked by it. I was like, oh my god, like I was like, I didn't know that you could write like like it was just so it just felt like a dream, like kind of like a daydream. Like you're
mm-hmm.
like I just love that that like there was so much like air to it, and I remember it was very formative. Like I was like, you can make comics like this, like this is good, like this is really good, and I wanted to do that, and I feel like it was kind of like a big influence, kind of like a little bit like shoujo manga ish, like
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of like inner thoughts and stuff like that, which I really like, and then I always feel like not surprised, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's not like a normal thing. It's not like a thing that's in all comics. Like it's not like you're always hearing like protagonist like main thoughts, or like it's not like like it's not always poetic.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's kind of like like I think Mari does this too. Mari Adomo. It's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like
Mm.
has like a little like dreamy like narration almost, like but not narration. It's like it's I would compare it more to like poetry than prose. But I
Mm.
really like that
Yeah.
comic. What about you? Is it Hero?
For me, I really, yeah, Hero was like like an epic, like probably one of the most like beautiful like web comics that I had ever read. But I feel like your short comic you did for, oh, what is that live journal called? Anyway, the comic was called 25 Lives.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
It
yeah.
was like, yeah, the zine.
Oh
I
wait, maybe it
love
was.
that one.
I like that one too. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
It's so good, and like
Oh,
it
you're so
packs like
good.
No.
it's such a powerful short story, and I believe I remember like tearing up reading
No.
it when I first read it.
No.
It's so good.
I
Yeah.
love that one. It was so good.
Yeah.
Did,
Just like yeah, I like
do you guys
it's
want to
very
know how it
romantic.
came about? It's not very romantic at all.
Yes. Tell me. I want to know.
So it's from I think like so there was this zine uh Shosetsu Bang Bang. Oh my god, I can't.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so what they would do is like every month or a couple of months they would have like a prompt, like so or a theme, right? And I think that month's theme had like a prompt of like 25 different rooms, and you could just pick a room and write about it. And I don't know why I looked at it and I was like, why don't I do all? They're like really nice.
Oh my god. You're so ambitious.
I know.
Yeah.
um,
You're like,
You say you're
easy.
not, but
like
you're like you really are.
like very suicidally ambitious. No, but then I was like, I was basically like, okay, this is not gonna happen. I'm just gonna make like each panel like suggest like one of the areas, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I was also, I think at the time I was also playing like Sengoku Basara, and
Yeah.
there was in Basara who have like the worst relationship. Like they always keep killing each other, but you know you believe that like they could love each other, but they just kill each other instead. And I was like very determined
Yeah.
a happy ending. But like the zine is obviously not for fan art. I think they have quite a strict policy on that. So I kind of like
Mhm.
things, and I was like, well, you know, this could be about them, but you know, like it's about all the different lifetimes that they have to like sort out their issues and like not kill each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it happened.
So good. That's the best dynamic.
Yeah, where you're
Just
like,
like,
are you gonna kill them or fuck
Murder.
them?
oh my god.
Or be with them? Like kill or marry?
Like just admit that you love each other and you don't actually hate each other.
Yeah, like please stop killing each other. Just love each other.
Yeah. Oh, so
I just
good.
remember Hui's always like, stop fighting.
No, no.
Like I'm always like fighting with someone. And Hui's like, stop fighting. Love each other. Like, oh yeah. It's a overlying theme or something.
Yeah,
Trying to mitigate conflict.
pretty much.
Just love each other. Don't hate each other.
Yeah. Oh, I think my other favorite, well, I haven't read it in a long time. I couldn't find it, but your Kodansha entry, I always thought that was like really beautiful
Oh, okay, that one. Yeah, oh, that was very long ago.
too. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Did you ever read that one, Leslie?
I
When it
didn't.
was up, it's very pretty. It's like
Wait, where is
beautiful,
it?
brushy, black and white. I don't know where it is. I read it a long time ago on the Kodansha like morning magazine site.
Oh, okay.
Because did you see she won that competition?
Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that,
Pretty
but like,
cool.
Oh no,
how
I
do you
think
feel about
like
that way?
I think I placed in that, but I think I'm very grateful to that because like so like I think that the first prize winner for that was Rem, uh
Oh,
Tulala.
Oh,
Tulala.
okay.
Yeah, because that was like I don't know, I've been living under a rock, but that was like the first time I saw her work, and I was like
Ah,
really 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 I fell in love with it because she handles black and white really well, and her characters are like super
She's
ugh,
super
yeah,
to me.
she's like
Yeah.
one of the best inkers
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And like
ever.
she updates so regularly. I'm like, teach me your ways.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I was very happy when I see her.
I simply cannot relate.
Yeah, like I don't get
We
it.
live in
I'm
different
like, huh?
worlds.
Updating every day?
Not
Weird.
every day, but like pretty
A
regularly.
lot.
Yeah,
Like at least 3 times a week, which is a lot.
yeah, yeah. Mm,
I just don't know.
yeah.
How was that experience though? Like entering, was it like were you like rushing, or had you planned on entering for a while and so you kind of knew what you're gonna do? Like,
Oh, no. I think I just saw I saw the like the I just saw the
The call for
announcement for
entry.
it. Yeah, the call for entry, and then I was like, okay, well, um so I think I was still working for my old firm at the time, and I just kind of like spent every night and every weekend doing it, and then I sent it off. Yeah, like I can't even remember what it was about. I think it kind of like referenced the story of the Buddha at some point because
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm.
because I it was very mortifying because after like the placings kind of came out and they were like, oh yeah, you won a prize. Someone forwarded it to like my entire company, which is like hundreds of people, and
Oh
everyone
my,
was emailing me.
wow.
And like my big
Oh
boss
wow.
read it, and he like sent me this like
Oh
one
my,
line. He sent me this like one line review, which I was like I found like really weird, but it was very touching that he actually bothered to read it.
oh my God.
That was really
That's
really
actually
mortifying.
really terrifying to me.
Yeah, I'm
That
like
like it would
no.
be forwarded to everyone like against your will.
Yeah, I think like HR found out and they sent like an email
Oh
to
my
like
God,
I
that's
was like no.
insane.
Like, don't harass Hwei about her comics.
It is kind of harassment. It's like, what? You didn't approve this? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that
wow.
was funny.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if they still have the competition up, but what I liked about it was that the judges would actually give their feedback on the piece as well. And
That's really cool.
yeah, so
Oh,
I
that's
thought
awesome.
that was actually one of the best things about it, like getting someone to tell you like what they liked about it and what they found confusing, and you know what they hope to see
Mm-hmm.
more of. And it's still
Yeah.
someone else's opinion, but it's the opinion of someone who I guess reads and edits a
Reads
lot
a
of
lot of
comics.
comics.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
valuable. I mean, anyone's opinion is valuable. It's a perspective that you haven't had or like haven't thought from before.
Mm.
Yeah, it is. I think it's valuable. I feel like the error in thinking that is not valuable is kind of just like self-defense, but also I think sometimes you can't let yourself be pulled in too many directions. Like you have to
Yeah,
you can take the criticism, but you shouldn't like be like I have to change it for so everyone will like it. I feel like that just leads to
yeah,
uninspired work.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, I think like valid criticism is so. Um, I think like someone told me about Hero like a couple of things once. Like the first thing was that everyone is too beautiful. Like this is not real, realistic. And the second one was something
Uh,
like yeah, some bits get confusing, and it like what they're talking about is like too abstract and it doesn't tie well. And I was like, okay, the first one, like I think they're both like valid like points, like they're true. But like I like the first one. I'm not gonna change that. But the second one is useful to know.
yeah.
Afraid that like
Yeah, it's useful to know at least, I think.
yeah.
Um, saying people are too hot to be realistic, I'm like, have you been out there? Like, it's kind of crazy. Sometimes some people are very hot. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, that's just kind of how it is, and they know hot people too. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, what kind of people are you looking at? Like, I've seen a lot of really good looking people, but I live in LA, so
Yeah. Yeah. It was
it's
funny.
funny. Yeah, I always think that the criticism that people are too hot is like very funny to me. Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Like we love hot people, and I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
uh, that's just your style. It's hot people on horses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot people and like bunnies and beautiful whales.
Oh.
Hot people riding horses and like
Hot.
waves.
Okay. I'm glad you didn't say like hot horses. There's that horse from like
they're hot too, but like
I mean,
that's
I
just
guess
a
they're
given.
hot, yeah.
That's just a given. Like, why you don't want to draw hot horses way? Then why do you draw them so hot? It's
Yo,
unrelatable.
Oh man.
I think once I was talking to Hui and I was like, I'm bad at drawing horses, but then I was like, Hui doesn't understand. Hui loves horses. Like, Hui is good at drawing horses. Like, this is like someone saying to me, like, I'm bad at drawing hair. Like, I love drawing hair. Like, what is that like?
You're just not trying hard enough, Leslie.
I know, I'm really not. I'm not looking at horses hard enough, I think.
Yeah. You're not appreciating their like grandeur.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, I just don't understand it. The scale. Scale wise.
No, so I think I actually learned to draw horses before I drew like I drew a lot of horses and I didn't
People?
want to draw people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's probably where.
Mm-hmm.
Horses don't need people to be drawn, I guess.
No. Yeah.
So we're like at an hour. So I was gonna like maybe do a lightning round, but I don't know how annoying that is.
Do a what?
What's what about like a bunch
Like
like
a-
word association or something?
No. I mean, we could do that too, but I was thinking of just like a round of favorites. So like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
favorite
tell us.
movie.
Tell us.
So like favorite movie, favorite comic, favorite like book, and maybe like a favorite place in the world that you've been to.
Oh wow.
Take your time.
Favorite movie is
Did
really
you write
hard.
that down?
Yeah, like no, favorite movie is really hard, right? Because like why is it your favorite? And
Yeah.
different points in life
Yeah.
also you have like a different favorite.
Yeah, I always
I would say
forget.
just one that means a lot to you, because I have like 50 favorite movies, but they're all good for different reasons, and like
No, you're one favorite movie, Sloane. You can't choose 50.
No, don't.
You're making Hui choose one. You can't choose 50
just
favorites.
one of the many that I'm sure she loves. Just one.
One of
Yeah, we won't
them.
assume that you've never watched another movie. We'll assume that there's many others that are really great.
This isn't like a vertical hierarchy. It's it's a lateral love across movies.
Lateral love.
Yeah, it's really hard. So like when you said favorite movie, like the first thing that came to mind was Amadeus, because I think I was talking about that.
Yeah, you were.
Oh yeah.
Because of like Fate, right? Fate.
Yeah, because
Fate Grand Order.
yeah, and the guy who plays like I remember looking it up and being shocked to realize that it was
Salieri.
No, that it was like so they actually made that movie in the year that I was born, and I thought that it would be like a much more recent movie because it was.
I mean, it seems more modern. I feel surprisingly
That's
modern.
a really good movie.
Yeah, and the timing was great, and the guy playing Salieri was so good.
It's so kinetic.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's very romantic, but messed up.
it is right, and it's so good. And then I think, like maybe I have to squeeze in like one of my like really really favorite movies that I have to watch again, which is like Fallen Angel by it's a Wong Kar-wai movie.
Oh,
so I don't know,
love Fallen Angels.
I don't know like which bits are in Fallen Angels and which bits are from some other movie. I think you kind of watch all of them and they're kind of set in the same universe ish.
Yeah.
But Fallen Angels was really nice because there was that one character who was kind of like very cheerful and hopeful throughout when everyone else is just kind of like swimming in their own like
Takeshi's character.
Yes, Takeshi's character. Yeah.
Takeshi Kanachiro's character.
The very
where he was like talking to like pig heads because he was like a butcher, or like he was like something like some not like a menial job, but like a very like
a shopkeeper.
not a great job either. And there was Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like that movie too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very much like I feel like I've only ever heard women like that movie. Like everyone's always like, I like 2046. I do like 2046 a lot, but Fallen Angels is the one that comes up with like a lot of like women I've talked to in the past,
Mm-hmm.
which is I don't know why. I mean, it is good, but I'm like, has no one else watched it? Like, they're not on the radar or something. I don't know. Who knows?
It's not as well known as like Chungking Express or the In the Mood for Love, lah. But I found In the Mood for Love like very depressing, and like I'm like, how do you expect me to believe that like some dude could be married to like Maggie Cheung and like cheat on her? Like how?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's crazy. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense with like I don't know. I guess the whole point of that universe is that everyone's very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's miserable. And then they like never fuck, and I'm like, this is unbelievable. Like, you guys spend so much time together. This is unrealistic.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
well, I guess it's happened. I don't know. Who knows? Favorite book, favorite
Oh.
game, favorite. What else is there?
Oh my god.
Comic.
Comic.
Favorite comic. This is so hard.
You can choose this. Several, I guess. I think that's happening already.
Yeah. Favorite comic.
JoJo.
Comic. Oh god, I really want to say JoJo. Can I just say JoJo? It's just so
Yeah, just say
like
JoJo.
just fall in love
Yeah.
over and over and over again.
Well, you have like very many different timelines to choose from, so it's almost like you love like 10 comics.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, pretty much.
So the first JoJo,
I think that
would
counts
be,
though.
like Steel Ball Run.
Yeah, because it's horses.
Yeah, because it was horses.
You know, Sloane has never.
Don't judge me.
Sloane hasn't read Steel Ball Run, even though Sloane loves
I haven't read
horses.
it yet.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's no, but it's very cute because like you don't expect the characters to be like that. Like, so I had no idea what JoJo was like.
They're very
I had no idea. I just thought
extreme.
it was this big thing, and I was like kind of vaguely expecting that okay, it'll be something like I don't know, Hunter x Hunter, and then you kind of and it kind of like starts, and Gyro walks in,
Yeah,
and you fall in love.
Naruto.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing is it's very hard to explain to people who haven't read it. Like JoJo is very hard to explain to people who haven't read it, and it's now like a meme,
Yeah.
so it's like slightly easier, but at the same time, it's so much about like the heart of the characters. Like a lot of the characters, it's like their interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of action for sure, but it's mostly about like the relationships between family and like your
Yeah.
friends and your like loved ones, I guess.
Yeah.
And the kind of the legacy of like a generation, like generations of like like this huge like family. And also like it's very irreverent, and like it references so many like bands and like music like that Iraqi was listening to at the time, and like fashion. It's just like it's very multi-layered, and it's very hard to condense that in a way that's like fun, because it's like a very funny comic. Like
It
a
is.
lot of the characters are very like bratty and like very flawed, like especially in Steel Ball Run, like Johnny is like a
you're
terrible
like,
brat,
okay,
and I
you're
love
like,
it.
yeah, you're like, oh, this is supposed to be the JoJo, but he's so annoying. And
Yeah,
then
he's so annoying.
and then
I
he
love it.
he
He's
starts
so
singing.
bad. Like his stand is like useless. Like it's like doesn't make any sense. It barely makes any sense. Like it's barely useful. Like, and it's so good. I feel like it's like he kind of like ran out of like useful like superpowers, and he was like, I'm gonna make it like really ridiculous. And I think that's kind of why it's so amazing, because when you're reading it, you're actually like, this is actually very weird and bizarre. So that's why it's fun, because you're like, he is right. It is an adventure. It is about JoJo, and it is really weird. Like, what more could you ask for? Like,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
Yeah, delivers on like all points. Yeah. Yeah. Also, like,
Sorry, I explained why you love JoJo to
but
everyone.
no, but that's true. And the worst thing is that like I hadn't read like 1 to 6, so I had no idea what was going to happen. Like I didn't know like what the name Zeppeli meant.
You didn't know why it was so like painful, like to
No, I
have
didn't expect it.
like gone from reading.
I was like, oh, I was like, oh wow, this is like a really big injury. He's gonna get up again, right? And then you just kind of like, no.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
but
think
anyway.
like knowing like someone that's probably read like JoJo from the very beginning, and then having to read Steel Ball Run is like probably like the worst trauma of your life. Like a very bad shock.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I like Diego. I feel that he's quite like he does quite a good job. Like he's not like Dio. He's like more pathetic than Dio, but he's also very
yeah,
cute in
I
his own
like it
way.
too.
Yeah.
And I like that Johnny is just like, I hate him. I don't know why. He just sucks. I hate him. Like, because he's like been murdering your family for like in an alternate universe for for like centuries.
Yeah. Feeling. There are just some people that you don't like.
Yeah, there's just people you don't like. They don't have a reason, but he does. I love stuff like that. Like it kind of requires like a love for the characters because otherwise you would not like catch things, I guess. Like there's like
Yeah.
very many like micro interactions.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Favorite book? Favorite
Oh god. Favorite book.
television show? Is that a thing? Do you watch
Television.
No,
TV,
there's no
Hui?
such thing.
Oh, again, I'm just gonna say like the favorite show that I have right now, which is like BoJack Horseman. Please watch BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
It's like so good.
I wonder why. I wonder
Interesting.
why. Shocking. Shocked.
He's not his teeth. Like I watched it and I wasn't sure what I was expecting.
Yeah, cried.
No, I don't. That's really you kind of like you end up like hating him, but also like hoping that he will, like become a
Yeah.
horseman.
A better horseman, yeah. I haven't watched the past two seasons, I think, but I remember like there was a turning point where I was like, wait, I do like this. Cause like I did hate him, and
Yeah,
then I was like, oh god, this is so hard to watch. And then like
yeah,
and I was kinda like I feel kind of bad because he's like depressed and like whatever. And then like there was a turning point where I was like, it's actually like it's great. And I watched the whole thing again and I was like, okay, I get it. It took a bit, but I understand now.
yeah. Um. Oh, I have to plug like favorite Chinese TV show here, even though I don't understand Chinese.
Oh yeah.
I can't pronounce
Yeah.
it correctly. The English version is called like Nirvana and Fire. It's really good.
Okay,
I
yeah.
tried so much. It's
I think I watched like one minute of that and I was like,
no, it's very confusing. So
this
the
looks
first two episodes introduce like 30 characters at once, and it's one of those things. So I don't actually really enjoy a lot of Chinese dramas because like I guess
they're long.
they're long and like you don't kind of like you don't kind of like get attracted to the characters, I guess, in a way. But I do like this show because like almost every single character is very charming in their own way and they're very cute. Their interactions are really cute and the story is quite
Mhm.
complex and yeah, I really don't understand why I like it so much, but it's good. So if you like Chinese dramas, you should definitely watch it. It's one of the best.
Very cool. What is the other thing I said? Oh, a favorite place that you've been or that you I guess, yeah, where you've been. I was gonna say a place you want to go, like your dream place to like visit, but
Ooh,
either one.
favorite place. So I guess there's so I live in Malaysia and on the east coast of Malaysia
Mhm.
there are these like couple of islands that are kind
Mhm.
of like only accessible during I guess like our summer, like because the rest of the time it'll be monsoon season and there'll be a lot of rain and you won't be able to get there
Mhm.
and stuff. But when it's not monsoon
Yeah.
season, I think like those islands are some of the most beautiful places like that I've been to. So yeah, it's just something
Ooh.
about the sea and like the beach that I think is
Mhm.
very very beautiful. Whether you're like
That's
in
cool.
the water or you're just looking at it, even though there are like tons of people around because they're like quite popular tourist destinations. But I don't know, about the
Mm-hmm.
sea. And I'm sure there are like even more beautiful beaches in the world, but like there's also I guess for me a bit of familiarity because I've been there a few times and
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
they actually do quite a good job of like cleaning up trash and taking care of the reef. So in a way, like I feel that I
Mm-hmm.
like it because I know that when I go back there, it will kind of be the same in a way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I want to go to Malaysia.
Sorry?
I want to go too. We should go.
Okay, please.
Let's go.
Let's
Okay,
go.
okay, come.
Wait, can we stay with you?
Yes, yes. You may have,
We're
you'll
staying
have
with
to share
you. You have to
share
feed
the
us.
room with like Leroy, but like you can bribe him with like
That's
food.
fine.
Preferable.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
how oh, I also I forgot to ask earlier, but how is the comic scene in Malaysia?
Oh, it's pretty cool. So the comic scene is kind of like a little bit divided by readership because we have comics in Chinese, comics in English, and comics in Malay. And I think that like probably like there are more comics in Malay and Chinese than there are in English
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
I mean like
Okay.
if I think about it, the how, the English speakers are probably like all clustered in like the main towns. So there are a lot more
Mm-hmm.
like comics in Chinese and Malay, and
Mm-hmm.
I obviously can't read the Chinese ones, but I know of some like some of the very popular Chinese artists, and you can get their books really easily. You can just walk into any bookstore and pick them up. Like, but if you wanted like a English comic, you'd have to go to Kino in town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and yeah, so it's and I remember reading like comics growing up. There would be this one magazine, so it would be in like Malay as what was it called, Gempak or Ujang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they would be like really cute. They kind of remind me of like Beano, the English Beano comics, Beano and Dandy. So they'd
Hmm.
be like
Oh, Beano. Okay. Yeah,
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 yeah.
they'd
yeah.
be like kind of like cutesy, funny comics, kind of aimed at kids. And I think they might still be around today. I'm not sure, but yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. So I think that kids here actually do grow up reading a lot of comics, and you have like quite a lot to choose from. You have like the locally made like comics. You have
Mm-hmm.
manga translated into either Malay or Chinese, and those are like for some reason those are
Yeah.
like really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I remember reading like some I read Slam Dunk in Malay, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah,
I
and
have
all
a
the
lot of Chinese comics. I can't. I'm bad at reading them.
yeah,
My Chinese is very rudimentary.
yeah. Well, I feel really embarrassed because I actually grew up in a country where there are a lot of like materials available in Chinese, but I can't read any of it. So yeah, okay, maybe I should start working on that this year.
It's like some like Duolingo or something, or I don't know. Yeah,
Wow.
I had to
Who
take like
doesn't know
a
how to speak more than one language?
you know, in
Oh
America everyone's bilingual at least.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess we should wrap up. Do you want to plug anything, Hui?
Yeah.
Um,
Yourself.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun talking
I hope it wasn't
Yeah.
too nerve-wracking.
yeah, it was really fun talking to Sloane. I feel like I've never talked to Sloane like properly before.
Yay, we're fun.
Yay.
Yes. um, the
Where can we find you?
issue 10 of Mirror comes out in
Oh,
like, April, I think,
mm-hmm.
and Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate is on the Switch, and you should all play it.
Oh my god.
And
Wait, I've like barely played that game. I played like 3 hours.
no,
Are you gonna carry me? Can you please carry me?
we'll ask Woozy to carry us.
Okay. Well, Lucy doesn't have a
Carry us.
Switch.
No.
Um, so I guess you could find Hui at Lalage on Tumblr.
Yeah,
Gosh.
and
Mhm.
and you can find me on Twitter also, but my name is a lot more difficult.
Madalba.
Madalpa. That's right. I had it too long. I don't want to change it.
Hui's Hui's favorite anime character is Madao from Gintama.
Yes.
Surely.
Oh, nice.
If you've ever wondered
Yeah.
who, and you must Google it now. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. You can find me at Leslie Hung on Twitter and at Dairy Free on Instagram. You can
Yes.
contact the podcast at Salt and Honey Pod on Twitter and at saltandhoneypod@gmail.com. Please rate and review if you like the podcast. I think we got actually a nice review. I will find it. Sloan, you can like plug
Yay!
yourself.
Did we? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Sloan Sloan on Twitter. SloanSloan.com is my portfolio, and I'm Sloan Leong on Instagram.
Okay, hold on like
Yes.
1 second. My phone is very slow.
Get it together,
Oh,
Leslie.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wait, when are you coming back to do you have plans to come back to the States at all for cons or anything, or
I might be at like
not yet?
Vancouver Con, Vancouver.
Oh yeah, Vancouver.
Yeah, like I applied for that.
Come to
What?
Vancouver.
Oh, awesome. Okay, we're totally going.
Yeah, we're going. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a review from a blue bloom, I think. They said looking forward to more, and their review says so glad they started the year with their early internet experiences as the first episode. I grew up with the net around the time as well, and there's just something really heartwarming hearing about fellow artists and how we all seem to be exploring the same spaces together, even though we're from different backgrounds. Love listening to the episodes where Leslie and Sloane talk about cons and their experiences as artists and such. Can't wait for the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks to Blue.